Welcome to the Black Daily Digest, your destination for Black news, social commentary, and information. And to help you navigate through it all, BDD is hosted by Adrian Massey, Brianne Wright, Maisha Gilmore, Tandria Dixon, and Esther Anderson. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms at MyBDD News.
So on today's episode, I wanted to discuss B. Simone and with her recent discussion behind manifesting love and how she took to social media. She went there and she discussed manifesting love and how one-sided the ladies can tend to be in regard to manifesting the type of man that we want. She basically encouraged women to love themselves properly first and to be the things a woman seeks in a man and allow that organic connection to occur once we ourselves as women repair and work on self-improvement. So to say, if you seek these 1, 2, 3 things in a man, how about you as a woman go and make sure that you're developed fully in that area as well? 1, 2, 3, work on yourself, improve yourself, and allow for an organic connection to flow your way. Allow for that man to find you, in a sense, once you've repaired and fully healed and full of self-love as well as those attributes that you require in a man. She kind of received some backlash. It was just pretty controversial because of I guess the way some women perceived her as attacking other women. But she pretty much discussed how one-sided ladies can be as it relates to manifesting the type of love that we want in a man. So she basically encouraged women to love themselves properly first and to be the things that we wish to seek for in a man. It was controversial because some women felt that she was attacking other women, but she was pretty much saying that ladies tend to be one-sided in their approach to seeking out love and manifesting love, basically looking for these things in a man, but falling short of those qualities or those comparable qualities, if you will, because she said something at the end that I thought was pretty amazing. She mentioned that how about we write a list of everything that we want in a man, and then we write another list of everything that that man would need to complete him, pretty much like what we would need to do to fulfill his needs. Since he's so great and so fabulous, we need to also be doing self-work and having that self-love for ourselves and working on self-improvement so that we can attract somebody organically. And I do think that she kind of put the ball in our hands for something that people can actually change. The only thing you can change for certain is yourself. You can't change somebody else. That's toxic. That's just going into a situation with the wrong mindset. So I kind of agree with her. I feel like we do need to be a little bit more accountable for certain things. And yeah, I agree with her notion. So I wanted to ask a few questions. The first one was, what does manifesting love actually mean or look like for you? If anybody wants to start off.
Me, please, Jesus, let me go first, because girl, let me tell you, I had already seen that B. Simone thing before you had even said something in the group. I am so sorry. I was like, yes, this is the best topic ever. I was hands down with it 100%. Like, I feel everything B. Simone is saying. I have been on. That's been my whole kick since like this summer, that last summer that passed. That is exactly what I've been working on. No, it's not easy, but I agree with you too with what you said when she said you need to write down all the qualities of the man that you want, everything that he has that's amazing, and then write down the type of woman that he would need. I was like, duh. Like, why are we so focused? Like, it's like, I don't understand how she's even getting pushback, because the type of people that are giving her pushback to me are the type of women that don't want to do anything. They want you to change for them. And it's like, okay, well, that's your closed-minded self, because everything she spoke to me was truth, because everything she's doing, everything she's preaching, that is exactly what I'm trying to work on myself. And I just feel Like, yes, I do feel like I might be a little selfish at times, but I feel like I'm being selfish and loving on me, and I feel like it's giving me
Mm-hmm.
more of a positive outlook just with my relationship with my kids, with my significant other, with my family members. Me loving me first makes it so much easier for me to even give love to everybody else. Because if I don't love me, you can't even love me the way I love me. How am I gonna tell you how
Right.
to love me if I don't love me? I don't. I have literally, what she was saying makes so much sense. Like, it's like you fat and you out of shape and can't walk stairs, but you want this man to have a 12 pack. Please do something
Yep.
with your life. Like,
Yep.
I agreed 100%. I am doing that. I'm trying. I'm not going to say I'm doing it, but I am doing my best to do that in my day-to-day life, just generally, just because I think she got it. She gave everybody the freaking secret to the secret to manifesting love. I really feel like
Mm-hmm.
she gave it to everyone, and all they have to do is just be open minded, open their hearts up to actually do the work, because it's not going to be easy. We have to actually, to love yourself, that means you got to love the shit that you don't, sorry, the stuff that you don't like about yourself. You have to love the stuff you don't like about yourself, and not just the stuff you do like. And that is not always easy for people. That's not easy for myself. And that's why it's like, no, it's a challenge, but it's something I'm actively going to fight for every day, because loving on me has been feeling so great. It's making me feel like I don't need
Mm-hmm.
nobody else but Maisha. And not saying that I don't. I absolutely I want love from everybody else, but I feel so empowered loving myself. So, girl, yes, B Simone got my support 100%.
Yeah, can
All
I add
right.
to that? I want to add to that real quick.
Okay.
So another one of my thoughts is just thinking about everything and what she said. I'm in agreement as well. I understand why she got backlash. I think it's probably because of her delivery as well as her past, but that's another story. You know, I mean,
Oh, see,
you know,
I didn't even research that part.
yeah,
No, I
but
feel you. You're right.
so, but I still feel like what she said is true, and I think it also comes down to when you talk about that attraction, right? What you want, who you want, you also want to be equally yoked with them, because you can show face for a while, but after a while, when it gets down to like how you live your life, making certain decisions, when it comes down to your faith, finances, things like that, those weak areas are gonna appear. So you said it right. It's important that you put in the work on the front end, right? To attract a partner that that you desire and that's the best fit for you, because that's really gonna be the glue, and that's gonna like it's gonna help build that strong foundation that both sides desire. So yeah, you have to put in work. I also feel like, when you think about self, you really have to love yourself. You got to get in the mirror, be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying, about everything about you. I agree with both of y'all, with what both of y'all said about that. And it's not easy. But then another thing, that I will say is like, even me with my own journey with my last serious relationship, after me spending that time with myself, like, it's just like I'm not gonna put up with a certain level of shit, right? There's just a certain level of like BS that I'm gonna put up with while I'm, with the individual. And it's just like when you think about what you can bring to the table, like, bro, I can bring the table, I can bring the food I can bring everything to the table. So it's just like I'm not gonna put up with certain things. And I feel like if you
Mm-hmm.
have that as a woman, when you stepping into certain situations, that also kind of gives you the upper hand. So I don't know.
I like
That's my
that.
thought.
Okay, so when you say upper hand, let's put a pin in it. Does anybody else want to comment?
Yeah, let me go ahead and jump in on this one. So here's the thing. So I think that what she said to some extent is truth, because just because I've seen relationships that are wildly successful where opposites have attracted, just because that individual may not be, I guess, um, well, one of them's well off financially and the other one is just doing okay, but it works for their specific family and their specific unit. And then I see some where, one person is very in shape and the other person could don't even know what a green is or a vegetable is. and their relationship is widely successful. So I don't think that because you don't meet your list requirement, I don't think that that should hinder you from wanting something that is your list requirement. I mean, because not everybody wants the same thing. I don't know if I'm making sense with that. But I do feel like, should you bring something to the table? Yeah, I understand that it needs to be some type of give and take and a balance, but it shouldn't be so one sided. And let's just face it, with this whole list idea and this list that, I think that women are more susceptible to have a list versus men not having a list, is because when you think about making a mate, it's for the your it when you try to get a mate or get somebody to be with and build a life with, it's a give and take. It's from a from a societal standpoint, we've always been ingrained as women to rely on our beauty before we can even get income to have a man pick us. And for them, it hasn't been the same way where they're doing the picking, so they don't necessarily have to have a list where a woman has to bring something to the table, because they have the table.
Mhm.
They're inviting you
Mhm.
to the table to sit down. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I think women, we have to be one sided, because before it was about survival. It wasn't just us picking mates to just pick them. Yeah, they needed to be well off, or they needed to be able to support you in a family they want to grow with you, because your access to making that type of money or making that type of wealth or being in that sector was limited. So you had to make this list. Um, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have everything that's on that list. This, I feel like this is a new phenomenon where women can actually bring those types of comparable attributes to a relationship. It hasn't been that long when women have been able to bring an income. While you're saying your income needs to match that man, we're running when we're talking about income, we're talking about women. We're behind in that race. Men have been making income for a long time. We haven't, and we still don't have equal income. So for that list, like, no, we shouldn't have to be like, oh, I don't feel a woman should be like, just because I'm making 50,000, I don't want, I should not accept a guy that's making 100,000. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, because everybody is dating for their personal well being. If we just really want to get down to the nitty gritty of it all, so you should reach higher than what you is on that list. Anybody who's like, to me, I'm not saying that it's you're trying to downgrade yourself, but I'm just saying you don't have to say that you have to be a perfect 10 to get a perfect 10. Sometimes, an 8 can fit with a 10, and y'all could just land on 9. I don't know. I could be
Mhm.
I could be off topic with that, but I get
I
what
get
she's
that.
saying. I do get what she's saying. Like, I I think I think the backlash that she is getting is, yes, it's probably some bitter ass people that's out there that's like, I don't want to work for shit. I don't want to have to live up to these standards. And that's just people who are just a hypocrite in nature. And those individuals can't take some of the harsh stuff that she's saying. But I do get when she's saying, like, bring something to the table. You shouldn't be with. I don't believe in somebody being with somebody who's just carrying the whole entire relationship. There needs to be some type of give and take.
Yeah. It's
I
it's a
agree.
lot of I think it's a lot of, and what she might have been speaking to, it's a lot of mess out here now where women might think just because of their looks that that's all they need. It's a lot of women who are broke, who don't have much, who probably are living out of Airbnbs. I mean, I've witnessed and seen it, and they're wanting men to splurge on them, take them on trips, buy them bags. It's just like a lot of foolishness, and just because of how they might look, and it's
But it has
nothing
that.
else that they have to offer.
But isn't that what society has pretty much trained women to do since the dawn of time? Like, that's all you had at one point. And I mean, some of these girls are reverting back to to the old ways, I guess. But I mean, it is a new day and age where that shouldn't be something that you rely on. Now that you have access to do better for yourself, but at the same time, it's still a social norm. well, women, sometimes our society puts our whole value on what we look like or what we. They don't do that with men. A man can be around here with a bald head and a pot belly, but because his pocket's long,
Right.
he can choose
His
up to the high heavens.
but his worth is placed on his pockets. So it's still not
Exactly.
fair because
Yeah.
you got some men who are out here who are broke and they might be very attractive, but they're broke and they not
Yeah.
getting the same love that they deserve because their value is placed on their finances. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's
It's
yeah.
a it's a so
I
it's a give and take situation with this one. It's like, yeah, now what I do give her on, like out of all of that, I wouldn't say about the weight, about the finances, but that whole trauma, past childhood trauma, that's something I will
Mm-hmm.
say, like, yo, before you get in a relationship, that's something you got to deal with, before you enter
Yeah.
into something. Like, you can't be looking for somebody who's whole mentally and spiritually,
Yes.
but you're not necessarily there, but you're not at least working towards becoming your best self in that aspect. And if you have childhood trauma that can pretty much bring up certain things in your relationship, you probably want to deal with that before you get into something, or
Mm-hmm.
be honest
and
about it when you get into a relationship.
I think that's what
Amen.
B Simone was trying to say. I really feel like it's not that she said the financial security and stuff like that because I follow B Simone, so knowing what she's working on, she just reached $1 million. So she is looking for somebody to match her level. So I understand what she's looking for, but I think what she was mentioning with the list is you don't need somebody like you said, Adrian, to match. People do, opposites do attract. She's just saying to get the love that you actually want, you need to be actively working on it and loving yourself to do that. And people aren't doing that. They're doing what you
Mm-hmm.
and Esther were just talking about. They're sitting up here thinking, oh, I look good. That's enough for me. Oh, he got money. I don't care what he looks like. I'll just talk to him because he
Mm-hmm.
got money. And that's how society has made it. But what B Simone is telling y'all is open y'all damn eyes, focus on loving yourself, and regardless of anything you fucking want, anything you want, sorry for cussing, but anything you want, from with love, and I feel like with anything in general, basically it starts with you, and that's what she's saying. So you can get anything, any man, any woman, depending on what your sex is, or even whatever your orientation is. You can get any person you want to love you, but it starts with you. I think that's the whole message she was giving,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that she's getting backlash for that is why I understand people are asleep, because that's why I agree with it. That's the whole message. Love yourself, and everything you want, you'll get it. Start with you, work on you, and everything else will flow and fall into your life. I feel like that was her whole message, and people are backlashing her because nobody wants to do what Tam was also saying, and what we've all said. It takes work, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't get that. To me, it seemed very woman focused. It felt to me that, and maybe that was the purpose of her message, to talk to women specifically, but I could not relate to that at all. Um, I have not witnessed those things, especially in my closer circle. Um, I have never felt the need to date anybody for their money. I'm honestly in the opposite situation. And so I almost wish that it was this more universal for anybody out there, men, women, whatever, finding your partner. But it seemed, in my opinion, like the emphasis was definitely put on women not doing enough, which I just couldn't relate to at all. Hearing your perspectives and seeing what you guys witnessed, that makes more sense to me, I guess, why she framed it that way. But that's just not my lived experience at all. And I just almost wish that this was just a broader message than, focused on what women are not doing here.
I could understand that, how she could have probably talked to both sexes.
And I think honestly, what she's giving, she's spitting real facts. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
would, because I feel like overall, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, then yeah, you guys need to be focused on, strengthening that relationship, be it finances, so you guys can be healthier, in that area together as a unit. If you're trying to be with somebody and truly build a lasting long relationship with them, of course you both need to bring something to the table so the strength of that unit can be stronger. So I get what she means by, doing, becoming your best self so you can find somebody else at their best self. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I do feel like she was solely focused on women, and and I get that point because she was speaking in that moment in that conversation. She was speaking to women specifically. She didn't say nothing about like, listen, guys, listen. If you know B Simone, she it's a certain way she talked, and in that moment when she was talking, it was like she was talking to a group of her girlfriends, and just girls in general. And I don't think she was talking. I think she would have her own opinion too about what guys need to bring to the table. Um, so I think I don't know. It's a catch-22 to me because on the one hand, yeah, I get everything that she was saying, but on the other hand, it's like I don't think you have to match up and be that perfectly so called equally yoked with each other to make it work. Because I think when people use that phrase equally yoked, I don't think equally yoked is what we're talking about in the physical presence. I think equally yoked is something on the spiritual level where you guys
Mm-hmm.
in your unit. So I didn't think that was a good analogy for her to use that whole equally yoked because she was using that out of context when you're talking about some people coming together and forming a unit under God, under their spirituality. That's something completely different. But I don't know. I don't care if I was like a big wide body this and that lady, broke as all get out, living in a cardboard. I'm gonna shoot for the stars so I can land on something else out there in the atmosphere. I'm not gonna say, oh, because I'm down and out, I'm not gonna shoot for this man that got all this on my list. Nah, nope. Because if it's meant to be, it's gonna be meant to be no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I want to make a quick comment about that, right? So, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but when it comes down to being equally yoked, right? I mean, yes, we have that spiritual component, right? We have that basis biblically. But also, when you think about being equally yoked from a secular standpoint, from views on finances, views on parenting, how I want to raise children, views on
Yes.
health, whether you vegan or you're not vegan. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, not saying that whoever like you're trying to attract has to be a 10 in every one of those categories, but you got to be working like y'all was saying to be your best self. So we can agree to disagree. It's cool. But I feel like also, yeah, being equally yoked from a secular standpoint in those categories, right? It that makes a difference and it counts. Opposites do attract, yes. But also, um being in agreement and having the same views in a lot of those areas, it does make a difference.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I guess
I
I would
agree.
just say
but
that just as much as
She.
it is, you know, working on yourself to be the best version of yourself, half of it is also accepting yourself. Accepting
mhm.
who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the things that you struggle with, and being upfront about those things, and also understanding your list of non-negotiables. Like they're not going to be the same for both people. Many people I've talked to, they have not looked for a spouse that was exactly like them. In fact, like
Right.
they looked for somebody, since they were insecure about finances or taxes or whatever, they looked for somebody who was secure about those things and enjoyed taking on those. And it's the same thing across all the different, I guess what you would say, like physical world attributes. um, so I think it's more just accepting and knowing, especially at a certain age. I think that everybody should always be striving to be the best versions of themselves, but they also have to accept what their limitations are. We all have them, and I think that we want to have a partner who brings those other things. So I don't know, just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just want to one more time mention on this equally yoked thing because I know I get what you're saying, Tan, that there's also a certain level of compatibility that you have to have in the secular world. But I feel like when you're considering being with somebody for the rest of their life, that the secular world and what we have going on in the real world, that to me, I feel like is the least of my concerns if we're not on one accord spiritually. Like you, that is the only equally, to me, I feel that, and it's just my personal opinion. To me, I feel that is the only equal yoke you really need. Because when you take certain vows and you guys know that you're equally yoked, God gives you the option to love each other through better or worse, sickness and in health, richness and in poor. So even though you guys might be like might not have it all together financially, are you there's some aspects of your physical world that's like in shattered, that equally yoked portion, that to me that comes into effect on your spiritual level, that all of this worldly stuff does not matter at all. Money, finances, what you like, what I like, even your physical body, none of that compares to our union together in a different like realm, not here. Like I don't know. I could be going
No,
way out
I
there
got
out in
you.
the space on that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like that. I don't like that she used equally yoked, because to me it's confused. Because everybody like we have different opinions on what that is, and that's to me that was something a little deeper. But her overall message, I got it, and I'm not bashing the lady for having her own opinion, but to me, I don't think I quite agree on what she said. Or maybe I'm not agreeing with how she delivered the message. Maybe I get, maybe I do get the message, but maybe I'm just not in agreement on how she delivered the message, because it could have been a little bit. I got confused, just a tad bit.
I think we all pretty much tackled all three questions that I actually had in relation to this. Um, I did have one more question, but I'm not going to bring it up since we kind of, it spent a lot of time on this topic. So I think we're good.
Thank you for tuning into the Black Daily Digest. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms at MyBDD News.